sadly, Lucasfilm, they are not moving forward with the Acolyte for season two. It was canceled after one season, and we did see one of the stars, Lee Jung Jae. I
Yep.
hope I'm saying his name correctly. He came out and he said he was surprised by that. I'm honestly not surprised by that because of all the hate and negativity that it got. But I think there is a positive in this shit show that is Lucasfilm right now. There have been multiple other Star Wars television projects that haven't had any word about whether or not they're coming back yet, like the series. That's the most important one. We already know that Andor is working on season two, and that's the highest rated, whatever. But I'm super excited about that because there's possibilities there. Because I mean, if they full out came out and said, we're canceling this, we're not moving forward, the fans just didn't like it. Okay, cool. Wipe your hands with it, wipe it clean. But with their super fan service stuff, fan service content, like kind of what we were talking about with the Frozen, Tarzan, all of that stuff, because Disney likes to service their fans.
Yeah.
That's what they're in business for.
Uh,
But I mean, I just think that there's possibilities for multiple seasons for different projects that are coming out of Lucasfilm. I don't think Boba Fett, because that was very set up for Mandalorian season three. And that kind of just told the story about where Boba Fett was. But yeah, I think there's possibility for another Obi-Wan Kenobi season. So I'm very excited about that.
and so see, and this is my issue, and maybe I'm just going to take some heat for this, and that's fine. But this is an instance where I think that Lucasfilm and Disney are making a mistake servicing the fans.
Yeah.
It seems to me that the fan base for Star Wars has become so adamant upon the fact that if it does not involve the Skywalkers, it doesn't need to exist. And that's driving me crazy. The ones that we've seen with any success are revolving still around the Skywalker saga. There's a chance that the Skywalkers will pop up in them, or there's history with the Skywalkers. That's true in The Mandalorian. It's true in Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's so. But what these fans have to understand is the rebellion just wasn't the Skywalkers. The rebellion was a whole bunch of people all across the galaxy, and there were so many other stories and so many other things happening that you have to let go of the Skywalker saga and understand, let the universe expand. Tell the stories of the other people. And this one especially, there's always been a question about why was it potentially so easy to convert Jedis to the dark side. There was always a darkness to the Jedis. This series was showing you that. They were doing some twisted shit. They weren't asking for kids to join. They were saying, if you don't want them to, we're going to take them anyway. There was some dark shit going on with the Jedis. They were lying to the council. They were like, the dark side was always, they were maybe questionable. And there were some points when you thought maybe, if you go back and you really watch Empire Strikes Back and the kind of stuff that they were doing with, you almost felt like maybe the Empire wasn't the bad guy. Maybe, so they were walking that line, and I think there's so much more to explore with that. Who is the bad guy and the good guy? What causes this rift between the Jedi and the Sith? And where does that go? And the idea that the fans just cannot let go of the Skywalker saga, I think it hurts Lucasfilm, because I think there's just so much more to tell there. And I don't know. It is my sincerest hope that at some point the fans go, okay, let's see a show that has nothing to do with the Skywalkers that we like. I liked Acolyte. I thought it was really well done. And I was loving the back and forth between, we're getting a little gritty with the Jedi. We're kind of getting here. I liked it. So I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed that it's not continuing, but you're right. They're full fan service. And sometimes that's a good thing, and unfortunately for us that are willing to go outside, it's a bad thing.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm looking on IMDb right now of the whole season, and the highest ranking episode is 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Because I mean, a lot of their episodes don't even break the 5 threshold. There are a lot of
Which,
4s. There's a 3. Like it's super sad, and I mean, yeah, I think Lucasfilm needs to take the approach of telling stories from characters that were in those films, like a Mace Windu. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson has been talking about wanting to come back as Mace Windu,
right.
or like a Padme prequel, or like, how did she become, Princess Amidala? All of these different things. I think that are in the same vein, but aren't necessarily the Skywalkers, if that makes sense. Because I mean, you're right. Because we see it a lot with Marvel fans too. We're not gonna lie about it. I mean, there's a lot of hate, there's a lot of criticism, but the only difference is right now is that Star Wars is strictly television. It's not theatrical. No matter what, Marvel fans are still going to see the movies in the theaters, so
Yeah.
it still looks really good, even though they're slamming it on the internet. But right now, all the television for Lucasfilm is getting slammed on the internet, and that's all they see. They don't see the box office numbers. So I think that's a huge thing holding Star Wars franchises back.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting because when Rey's new film comes out,
Yeah.
I would assume the storyline is going to push it away from Skywalker because, as we found out,
Yeah.
whether people liked it or not, she's not a Skywalker, and
Exactly.
that's going to go. Here's a Jedi that is not a Skywalker, and we're going to continue to tell her story. It's going to be really interesting to see if fans go for it or not, or if they're going to be like, "Fuck that, she's a Skywalker, and you need to fix it." Blah 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 blah. And to your point with Marvel, the fan reaction when, well, he can't be Doctor Doom, he's Iron Man. He can't be. You can't do that.
exactly.
You can't. And I'm like, my argument to that, and I was literally having this conversation the other day, is like, and the argument is they claim they're diehard comic book fans. They're not sticking to the comic books. It's got to be comic book accurate. If you're a fucking diehard comic book fan, then you're all in on changes like this. Because in the comic books, different writers and artists take over the books every so often, and they'll change the origin, or they'll change the look, or they'll change a character's background story, or they do it all the time. Frank Miller's
It's
Batman.
like that's why you have the multiverse.
Exactly. And if you look at Frank Miller's Batman is not the same as John Byrne's Batman, and vice versa, right? And it works in the comic books, so why can that not be an accurate thing in the film side of it for both Star Wars and Marvel? Just understand that creators are creators, and they're going to make some changes, they're going to take some liberties, and it's okay. I mean, you can still be comic book accurate and make some changes. I'm just saying. And sometimes it's so popular that it reverses. For instance, Nick Fury becoming a black man in the comic books because Samuel L. Jackson was, think about that. And then, or Harley Quinn, who wasn't even in the comic books and was specifically created for Batman the Animated Series, but went over so well, she's now in comic book lore and a huge character in the comic books. You can't have it both ways, and that's all I'm saying. So for Star Wars and for even Pixar, could you imagine if they do any variation from Frozen? If they take it in a direction that they don't want, or The Incredibles in a direction that they don't want? Are we going to see the same type Heat? It's just like, have some creative liberty. Just enjoy the stories. You love Star Wars. Love Star Wars. You love Marvel. Love Marvel. There's nothing wrong with yeah, man, this is interesting. This is, but I'm kind of pissed because I wanted to see the continued story of Acolyte. That's all I'm saying.
Right?
I wanted to keep going with the story there. I don't know.
I know. It is crazy. It is crazy.